my other tool topic is standard work. This will go into the analyze, improve, and control part of the DMAIC. The figure shows an overview of what standard work can look like. I'll get into more of what is involved in it, but it's basically a detailed documentation that will record an efficient step-by-step operator process sequence. So it is used for human operators. It separates each process into individual elements with their associated completion time. And then it summarizes total completion time so you can analyze operator utilization, takt time, and cycle time. So it is used to document repeated process sequence and to standardize the process to ensure consistency between all operators. Now, this is really important if you're doing steps multiple times. You want to ensure that everyone is doing it the same way. So then you can, if there are any issues, you know that there is consistency amongst everyone and that everyone is following the same instruction. For utilization, it's very helpful because it's a good tool to use when balancing the line. So depending on if an operator is maybe 20% utilized and another one is 95% utilized, so you're exceeding the industry standard of 85% utilization. Look at their steps, see what may contribute the most, and balance them out as needed. So the steps to apply standard work are to collect data for a current state of operation. So you want to look at what operators are doing right now. What is the process now? If you have multiple shifts, it's sometimes good to look at what everyone is doing, because there's a good chance that if it's not documented, everyone has their own way of completing the same manual process. So with that, you want to note any variation and then determine the most efficient way to complete the sequence of steps. So if there's a lot of walking, we know that movement is a form of waste. If any of the 7 forms of waste are included or analyzed during observation, it's good to try to at least mitigate some of those to ensure optimal efficiency. Next, it's great you want to write everything down. You want to document the process, take pictures, and create an instruction sheet essentially so that an operator can look at this standard work and know exactly how to complete the process and generally how long it will take. So then it's good to train your operators and on the process, highlighting the existence of the documentation. You want to make sure that they know that it exists, and then continuous improvement. Gradually, if there can be some improvements further down, or there's material that can be eliminated or a step that can be eliminated, it's best to optimize the efficiency. So standard work is used whenever there's a specific work sequence performed by an operator. And then some benefits: the reduced variability. Training is easy and consistent because you just show that one document. You know everyone is seeing the same document, and those documents have all of the same steps. At work, we use the example of an operator winning the lottery. So should an operator win the lottery and leave, we have a documentation for the new individual coming in that will show them exactly how that previous operator did that same manual process. There are some limitations to standard work. I've definitely had standard work that I've created go missing. So since it is a printed document and you bring out on the line, sometimes it will disappear. If there are any improvements and changes that are made to the documentation, it does require you to go in and make any modifications and place the one that's on the line already. And then if an operator does not know about it, or it's already gone missing, or it's hidden, it's not commonly seen, it's possible that an operator will not use the standard work. It's really important for that training step from application to highlight that the documentation exists and make sure it's clear so that an operator knows exactly what it is and how to do the process. So my favorite example that I had from elementary school is how to make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. So our problem is that our favorite peanut butter and jelly chef has won the lottery and left the company. However, he did create some standard work on how to create his famous peanut butter and jelly sandwich. So we are going to be creating one PB&J. There's one operator, and that will be you. And the materials you will need are a jar of peanut butter, a jar of jelly, 2 slices of bread, and a knife. And then out of this will be one sandwich. So the process steps, you want to take your peanut butter and jelly and your bread out of the cabinet. This will take about 10 seconds. I've also highlighted an approximation of how long these tasks will take. You remove the tab from the bread, take 2 slices of bread out of the bag, unscrew the lid of the peanut butter jar, open your cutlery drawer, and take out one knife. Using the serrated end of the knife, scoop out 2 tablespoons of the peanut butter and spread evenly onto one side of your bread. Now, of course, this step, I don't know many people who will actually take out a tablespoon and measure out the peanut butter. I just included that as a step for standardization. So you want to, like, one person could put in on a little bit of peanut butter or not much peanut butter. But if you're manufacturing this, you want consistency. And then you don't want any contamination between your knife. So you want to wipe off all remaining peanut butter from the knife. I usually do on a open corner of the bread. You want to unscrew the lid, or you want to rescrew the lid onto the peanut butter jar, and then unscrew the lid of the jelly jar. Using the serrated end of the knife, you want to scoop out a tablespoon of the jelly, spreading evenly onto the other slice of the bread. Wipe off remaining jelly from the knife, screw the lid back on the jelly, put the 2 slices of bread together with the peanut butter and jelly facing each other, and then you want to put away your ingredients and then eat your peanut butter and jelly sandwich. So this is a more general version of how to make it. But there are some really important follow-up questions. Now you can see I only included one image. Now with standard work, it's very helpful to have more than one image, usually for each step in the process. So did the sandwich look just like the chef's? Some of these steps may be a little different. I know some people will put the jelly on top of the peanut butter and then have just an empty piece of bread. So there might be some variability there. Were any of the steps not clear enough? Now this is where photos are really, really helpful because we can have that consistency amongst different people. What would you improve about this? Personally, I'd probably add some more photos if I were following this, just so I can understand, okay, how do I do this? How does each step, how is it intended to be completed? And then what if I had to make more than one sandwich? This takes approximately 68 seconds to make. Now, again, this is an approximation. But if I had to make more than one peanut butter and jelly sandwich, I want to make sure I'm not going to create a bottleneck in one of these steps. And then some takeaways. It can be really difficult for operators to understand steps because there can be different interpretations. Again, pictures really help. So looking at putting the peanut butter on one side of the jar, how to put them together, it becomes really, really difficult if there are different ways to interpret the issue. So this is an overview of standard work. And I hope you enjoyed that tool topic. Thank you.